Welcome everybody here, Brady from BGWX, and we are back live. At least try not to go too long. Hopefully by 10 p.m. we'll be over and I can get some sleep. I've been going to sleep much earlier lately. Now I do not have the capacity in the day at this point, as we're still in the recovery process here. But we'll. The system is it's too interesting. Sorry if I slur words or in behind mentally a little bit, but it's too interesting not to go live for. Just enough mental capacity to break down here. So let me get the link out to X. Um, okay, pin to the profile. Mhm. Respond to Sebastian on Twitter. Okay, let's open up our chat here. Michael, RHP, welcome. Let me open up the chat on multiple. Which I didn't really tell anybody. I was guaranteeing to anybody I was gonna go live, but I said, you know what? I think I got at least 45 to an hour in me. Might as well do a live stream. Less time on the back end. I think it will work out well. But this is peak Twisted. Yeah. Again, I am very tired right now. My eyes are feel near ready to shut. So if my thoughts do not are not articulated clearly at times, I think we'll hit a little bit of a pocket here because I'm really actually excited and interested about this system. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. To be honest, uh, I don't think a lot of the snow maps in the local whatever. They still find my way. Family still seems to always text me the local forecasts around here, but I don't think they do it justice for what the system is going to be. In my opinion, now won't necessarily be widespread, but I think actually will be more widespread than some would imagine here with this system. So I would keep that in mind. But yes, actually, Twisted, I do have the TV on here in the background. So if Drake May is announced MVP, we will get to know during this time as well. So that'd be pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead here, get the pen tool. Well, hopefully some people filter, and I don't know what to expect for tonight's stream. This will be the first stream in a while where we get to test our base here of people coming in. So I guess I can briefly. I really don't want to talk about Beyond too much because I need to dive deeper. But um, I am I am excited here to talk about this system. This stream, I'm telling you, it's really going to be more so just about this system. Do not expect it to be more about the longer range, even though we did break some of that down last night. So you can go ahead and watch that video if you haven't already. Um, so I apologize as well if you do get mid ad rolled. But at the same time, I have a chance to make a little bit of money for a 3-second skip ad that you can potentially do. So um, I apologize a little bit, but listen, I am not loaded with money whatsoever. So if I can find a way to make a little bit of profit on the amount of work that I put into this, I'm gonna try to do that. That's never my core of how we do things. You all know that though. So I just want to make that want to give you a heads up um, that actually I need to make sure that this is monetized because otherwise this won't be doing me much other than breaking down the system. I love to. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Kevin, how we doing? Joseph, yeah, you'll get some accumulating snow in Jersey. It won't be the hot spot, but you'll get something. All right, I need to trying to figure this. Maybe I won't be able to do it until after, and that'd be annoying. There we go. Let me come on. Let me edit this. Or we're just waiting for people to filter in here in a second. We'll get going here, but I'm just trying to hopefully hoping we can this new base here of we now have over 1,600 subscribers. I can't believe that. So weird. So weird to say at this point. Not used to it yet. It's a little weird. So um, getting bigger here on YouTube and X. It's whatever. I forget exactly how many followers, 8, 9,000, something like that. But um, it was pretty cool to see the growth we've had here. Um, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it like my spot. Ronnie, hello. Vetris, hello as well. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. Will it let me? Here we go. Now we're talking. Save. Boom. All right. Now we're cooking. All right. Now it's monetized. That's important if I am to make any profit off this whatsoever. It's very minimal, by the way, for those that want it. I'm not making thousands of dollars off this, something like that. But all you're appreciative. Believe me. Listen, all those people, all of you that have decided to join the channel, we'll get going here in a second. Very much so. We're about to get going after I say this. So very much mean that we're starting. But I have to say this first. All those channel memberships, all those super chats, um, you know, everybody just watching in general, it is really starting to add up a little bit. I've noticed in terms of subscribers, more people tuning in, and even just a little bit of moolah. Okay, just a little bit. And so I very much greatly appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I thank you all so much for tuning in. Um, Even on these streams here, this is where I really appreciate everybody tuning in, and hopefully as those notifications go out at their own time, they'll start to roll in here, and we can get hopefully get at least 20, 30 people concurrent here at one time. That'd be nice. If not, is what it is too. People will see it when they see it, and the goal is just to to get the forecast out there. And if whenever you get to it, whenever you're able to see it, that's all that matters to me. All right. Let's break this down here. I was just letting the new NAM roll out here. Um, Even though right now I don't think there's one change up of a model solution that could really play with my thoughts on. Still need to dive a little bit deeper onto some past history, past research and papers. Hopefully I can get into that. I like doing that before every setup. Trying to compare really keeps me in check to where I think we may head, but we're so close with this now at this point that only so much benefit. And I'll see the snow map may have to wait. I know it's going to be starting in the morning, but the snow map may have to wait until the morning because I don't know if I'm going to have any energy to put it out. I don't know if I'm going to have any energy to put it out. So, but I will be making some version of a snow map. I'm pretty sure. Um, I will try to get something out. I will try to get something out, even if it's just a like a threat. I'll try my best, but I'm I've been very depleted in general lately, and I am right now. I'm super tired. I'm just hoping to make through at least 30, 45 minutes here, and we can kind of you know uh, get some tangible stuff out there. So meteorologist kid, welcome as well. Um, we have not been in a snow drought. Here's another thing. Here's what you have to remember about winter. Go back to I know all of you are psychos like me, and you put your notes in and you measure every single system and you add it up for the seasonal total. I know you're all just like me and psychos, snow sickos. Go back and you'll notice all of your best stretches will always be in like compacted time frames of like 1 to 2 weeks. That's usually and the best ones end up being like 3 to 4 weeks. That's what it always ends up being. Like 2015, 2018. I think there might have been one 2011. I think there was a pretty good stretch in there. 2013, I think there was maybe I don't know how long. 2013 might have just been just a spread out winter. Have to look back into that. But that's the one thing you should always know that it's always in stretches. It's very rarely just consistently week after week after week after week. It's very rare to do that. And that's what you notice too, is that's how January was, right? January 1st, right? We get cooking and then we take a break and then what was it? Or actually no, January let me go back. That post, by the way, I put out that took me a while to edit that January. I don't know how I was able to put I was leaking fumes, but we did put it together. So January 1st, December 31st, January 1st, our system, we had that snow squall enhancement system, which evidently enough, all the 2015 connections we've been making, pretty cool to see here. That's kind of playing out. First 2 foot system since 2015 and associated with the squall enhancement, literally the same dates as well, 25th to 27th. It's kind of funny, or 2 foot snowstorm we had. But then we did January 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, consecutive days in a row of snow there. Then we took a break for about 10 days here. Did not get any accumulating snow. And then it came in hot. 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, and then 25th, 27th. So we did one, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9 out of what, 11 days? 9 out of 11 days in a row with accumulating, actually, no, 10 out of 12 days with snow, 9 out of 11 with accumulating snow. Those are always when your best stretches are going to be. So just keep that in mind. It's very rarely that it's just day after day, week after week, where some amazing, even in your best winters. They're usually in stretches. That's usually how it tends to be, even when you have great winters, great patterns. Now, tying that, and how does this tie in? I think we may be working into another stretch. I think we may be working into another stretch here, and it starts with potentially this system here. And I think this is going to surprise a lot of folks. I really do. I'm not sure what the exact expectations are, but I would keep that in mind. And actually, a new trick we learned from our, if anybody remembers, from that last stream we did that night of that snowstorm. Um, and I'm going to be looking in because I mean this system, in my opinion, has the potential to. It really does, and we're going to pull up some soundings here as a result. And yes, Long Island is, I think, in a decent spot here. Let's see, will that pull it unavailable for location? So I'm looking at soundings off screen, and even then, I don't think. Well, it's hard. I don't want to use this long range. I'm not really a fan of using the long range HRR to depict this stuff because reminds me of the last. It was difficult for it to pinpoint. But first thoughts is what I'll say is keep an eye on. Let me get to the 700, or can I get zoomed in more? Take a look at the 850. You see what we got going on here? See how there's a little bit of upper level energy that's currently actually over us. So this we have. Well, let me break down what's been going on first before we get into any of the specifics. So we broke it down on stream or on video, sorry, last night. But this system here that slid out produced, is it producing any snow in the Carolinas right now? Um, is it anything? It is. It is. Very cool. Yes. So some people reporting some flakes, literally the same spots that got crushed by the blizzard that saw, 15 to 20 inches of snow from the blizzard, same spots, which is kind of interesting. Right back into here, there's some snow being reported from this system, and so this is sliding out, and it's kind of funny, or I don't know about funny, but just interesting how close this freaking system is from being a bomb of a snowstorm right here. So I know we're gonna get some fun here, but very close to being a fun southwest flow event that would have been a, a pretty nice bomb of a system. I can't lie, with that confluence sitting to the northeast. You see how this thing is? It has to take a minute to deepen a little bit. Would have been a semi-quick mover, but still would have produced a really good, very close to producing. It's back-to-back storms that either scrape or miss to the south. Right, this one we said, this one, and we some unfinished thoughts. We said it would either, be able to ride up to the coast and be a hit. Is what we said. Is what there were in two camps. We didn't think it would be a complete miss for here, and it wasn't. We saw accumulating snow for southeastern Massachusetts, in association with the ocean effect, and then those outer bands scraping the Cape and the islands. Even though it felt like a miss, it was actually producing decent snowfall for eastern New England. Not nothing crazy by any means, but good 1 to 4 inches across a lot of those areas. And fell into the scraper category. But I'm not lying, guys. I meant my match. I really did. And I tried. After that last stream, I literally was asleep for 2 days straight. Didn't do anything. I was about as unproductive as I could possibly be to try to just recover and get some sleep. I just met my match completely. So Apologize, I wasn't able to get more content out on that snowstorm, but um, yeah, things happen. But that one scrapes. This one misses just to the southeast. But what it does is it sets a lead for this tail edge of the system moving through. And then what happens is you have all this upper level energy that needs to swing through now. All of this needs to swing through while being saturated. If I get here, what you'll notice is, see that? Look how well saturated we are with this system. 500, 700, 850. We don't even need 500 for this system to be saturated, but we will. And that will only help. Look how well the saturation is at 850. That's the most important spot for this system. And we'll explain why in a second. We'll look at some soundings. But boy, oh boy, 250, irrelevant, because that's way above in the atmosphere, way up in the column. Imagine this is the surface and this is the top of the atmosphere. 250 is close to the top. It's really irrelevant for oftentimes being saturated, but we were evidently saturated for that massive snowstorm we saw about 10 days ago. Here in this area, we were saturated to all 4 panels, and anytime you see that, it's a good indicator. So even though snow growth wasn't fantastic in the dendritic growth zone, even though we had a pretty notable, warm tongue that kind of probably held a little bit too long for us to get some of those more consistent 3+ inch per hour rates without the necessary omega. Even though we had good forcing, we had really good forcing, we didn't necessarily have enough of the right rising motion and lift in the dendritic growth zone at times, even though with such good 700 millibar FGen forcing. That's why you didn't necessarily see as much of those 3 to 4 inch snowfall rates. Even though we did see a quick period, I thought we would get maybe another chance again in the evening. So that was, one thing to keep in mind. Sorry, this mind spirals a little bit. It likes going off in tangents. So that's the fun thing about my mind. But notice, take a look in the short term. You see that? We're going to have a little bit of saturation associated with this system here. Tomorrow morning. Sorry, not this morning, tomorrow morning. Overnight to tomorrow morning, notice what starts happening. We're probably going to get some ocean effect. Not fantastically saturated here. Here's the thing you need to know about ocean enhancement. You don't need all these panels to be fully saturated. You need a little bit of saturation and a little bit of lift at any point in the dendritic growth zone where that snowflake production zone is made. At any point within that zone where your snowflakes are made, you get a little bit of saturation and lift. Oftentimes, as Myles Garrett wins Defensive Player of the Year, I do believe. His big old cowboy hat he's got. I would love for the Patriots to have him on a side note, but hopefully we can get that done in the off season after the Super Bowl, regardless of the result. But come on, you want to be a Patriot, Myles, you know that. But you just need a little bit of saturation here, a little bit of saturation, and then what happens is you have to think about it like this: as long as you're saturated from the surface down at that point, just enough, or even just a little bit, you'll get some of those flakes to mix down. That's how you have to look at it, kind of. If you get some down, you can get, guess what? When snow falls, what does it do? It accumulates. So that's kind of the cool thing about ocean effect snow is you don't need a perfect sounding always to be able to accumulate pretty well. We saw that in the last system. It was really poor snow growth, but we actually had really good saturation across 700, 850 down to the surface. Sure enough, just enough to keep producing snowflakes even out of poor snow growth, and you accumulate snow. You have to look at it like that. If you're going to accumulate snow for hours, but you're forecasting 1 to 3 inches, and that's not even the main show, well, Take that in the note. Look at here. You can see it on 850. Let me zoom in a little bit more. See that? See this extra enhancement of the saturation here? Boom. But notice you're still pretty well saturated, or at least decently, into some of these areas. Now 700 is becoming more saturated. 500 is well saturated. Now all these layers of the atmosphere are starting to come together. I think the ocean enhancement with this system is going to be even more. If it's pinpointed at your house, its chances are it's right next to mine as well. Kevin, we tend to be pretty well oriented oftentimes together with these systems. But here's the thing. No, we're not going to get into it yet. But I have a remind me to bring it up again, Kevin. It's a point about why necessarily the QPF is not as important on what you see on the inverted trough. There's more to it than that. There's more to it than the P-type maps with this. So Kevin, remind me if I don't get to it to bring it up again. That's your duty as the stream for being my moderator. But again, Kevin didn't necessarily have, actually, none of you technically have a choice. I can make you moderators if I choose to, but I did ask if you felt worthy of it, and sure enough. But I very much think the ocean enhancement is going to overperform with this system just due to all the upper level. Let's go back. 500 millibars, guys, never lies. It never lies. Look at all the upper level energy just sitting offshore, continuing to roll through. All of this upper level energy, all of this, negatively tilted, completely negatively tilted, broadly tilted negatively. All of this gets thrown back. All of this. Atlantic moisture. Here's another thing. Something we have not checked in on in a minute, but I'm sure it's still there. And this is going to be a different version, a different way than what I believe it's one we've mentioned, but it's not the way you would think about it. Look how cold our sea surface temperatures have gotten now. I bet you these anomalies have to be below average. I want to look at these too, and certainly they are. Look at how cold we are off some of those Atlantic coasts, man. And look at that. We still actually have some decent warmth here where the systems have been moving over still. And so that's kind of something to note here. But take a look. I mean, these are a little closer to average, but still very cold on the coastlines here. Very cold. So this may work into our favor, guys. All this cold air at one point, some point in February, just like it worked. Listen, this worked in our favor for the last system. We talked about this all winter long. We said there's going to be a system where these colder sea surface temperatures matter. And boy, oh boy, did it matter. This was the difference between New York City potentially getting, now you can't tangibly, you need to do a case study and everything, but let's say in theory, this could have been the difference. Is that Jackson Dart's mom? What's going on here? She's also jacked. Okay, sorry, there's a lot going on the TV screen, but my point is, right here, this could have been the difference between New York City seeing like 5 to 6 and 12 to 14 inches. That could have been the difference. So this is going to play, I'm telling you, I think it's going to play another role for another system upcoming here. Another warm air advection event, I think it's going to play a difference at some point. It did in the late December one as well. But my point was, you see this gradient? Let me see if I can zoom in more here. And I can. Regardless, you see this gradient along the coast? Even with that, even if a gradient is already created from the coastline itself, regardless of whether one shows up offshore or not. So this gradient here, it has to do, think about how cold it will be along all these areas here, inland. The land will help create a gradient between the ocean as well. There's already one that's kind of there. it's pretty cold along the coastlines here. Ted McMillan is your offensive rookie of the year, it turns out. Okay. But this right here, I think this will play a part, and it will only help enhance potentially some lift along these areas. I think it will only help. I think it will only help a little bit. Just a small factor, just something I'm looking at. Yeah, I think that will play a little bit of a factor. But take a look at the two gradients we have. Boy, this gradient is going strong right now. This gradient is going strong. In theory, you're gonna get one to ride. I mean, this is a notable gradient too. Don't get me wrong. This whole winter in the Gulf, we may not go below the Gulf being able to support a hurricane, which is impressive. Even despite this Arctic snap here, could support a hurricane right now. But this will probably play a role going forward, if I had to guess, for one of these systems here. We said, remember with the blizzard, the Carolina blizzard here that scraped here? We said it was either going to ride this one or this one. It rode this one. I thought for a second maybe we could lean, but we made it pretty clear. Even though we're a few days out, we said it. High risk, high reward. This one or this one. And fortunately, we got cut short a little bit, but we did at least make it. We at least on one thing we never did though. We never bought into. You guys remember? We never bought into the snowstorm going out here. We said it would take a lot for that to happen. We said it's possible, but it would take a lot for it to happen. And model guidance was loving some of those areas, but it was always this area here. If it was going to be, it was always going to be New England. If it was, just the nature of that setup with the way the confluence was pressing on it, that was going to be difficult. But just another side note, tidbits. Try to throw stuff, and not try to be revisionist history, but just trying to let you know what we were thinking on some of those streams. But so we discussed how that may play a role for this system, but also future ones. Again, thank you for all of you in here right now. If you don't mind hitting the like, that's greatly appreciated. No worries if not, but easy way to help support if you don't mind. Yes, I am still not feeling fantastic, so we're keeping the voice at minimum and just even more smoothly than usual, however you want to say it, smoothie talking, as how we're trying to phrase it a little bit, but do our best here to still do a breakdown of things, so to say. But with the system here, you have all this upper level energy, and don't mind the tick right now. You're gonna see this. Models are still gonna see how much time there still is from the main system to kind of get back through here. Well, Kevin, I'm gonna ride the adrenaline, so I'll be fine for the system. I'll get plenty of adrenaline to that snow adrenaline kicks in. It's the same thing for sports. You're just able to. Anybody that's played sports before, you can ride that pretty nicely. But no, we'll find some energy hopefully. But let me get a sip here. No, I'm not talking. I'm not gonna break down too much beyond this stream. This stream is gonna be strictly. It was gonna be pretty strictly on this system right here. I don't have the juice, guys, to do a full in-depth breakdown for those yet. If you want some of my thoughts on there, we broke it down last night on a video, albeit loosely, but still. I'm still collecting some thoughts to pinpoint it clearly, but I do think there's gonna. I'll leave you with this. We're gonna be. I think there's a decent shot. We're gonna be tracking. We're gonna be tracking next week. Again, that's all. That's all I'll say. Um, for the northeastern part of our country. That's what that's what I'll leave it at for now. So I'll give you a little something there, but all this upper level energy has to work through, and then take a look at the upper. Oh, come on, come on. There we go. See 925. Look at this. Look at 925. Ocean enhancement is going to start tomorrow morning. They're gonna nobody's gonna be talking about it. Nobody was expecting it to happen that early, and it's gonna happen. Just watch. There'll be some bands coming off tomorrow morning. Nobody's really talking about it. All has to do with this system offshore here. You see how this is spinning? Just like that, kind of, basically. This most simplified way I can put it. Now we'll spin, that moisture will spin offshore, and see how it'll link up? And so what we do here, this is fascinating. What's going to be happening here is what we do now is this is why this is such a fun system. All of this ocean enhancement, thanks to a negative trough, progressively tilted, but negatively tilted at the same time. Progressive mover, the negatively tilted trough is we have all of this ocean enhancing offshore, and it's not just limited to the coastal sections. It'll be pushing in to try to meet up. What do we know is systems like to go meet up where the best dynamics are, and they're going to be back here. So they're going to try to meet up with the convergence created from the upper level energy moving through. And so as that happens, is you have all of this upper level energy sliding through. Take a look at 500. See that? All of that upper level energy is still sliding through. I'll go to 700 too, mid levels. See that? All of that sliding through. All that has to slide through. Boom. Which honestly, it wouldn't shock me if these areas perform better than what some think. It wouldn't shock me. Even though the best due to the ocean enhancement will be off here. And really, it's because it's 850 is where a lot of the magic is. 850 is where a lot of the magic is. You see that? I still think some of those areas will do decent, though. I know some people aren't expecting a lot, but I think you could do 1 to 3. I think you could do a solid 1 to 3 inches a lot of these places. I don't think it's just a coating to one. I think such I think it's such a long enough duration of snowfall that's going to be happening, and we're going to break down some soundings as well. In the soundings, we're going to play a little bit of a math game here, and then that might be it. We maybe got another. See if we can get another at least another 20, 30 minutes here. I think we got it. I think we got it in the bag for that. But notice what happens. This is the convergent. This is part of the inverted trough. Let me see how this compares to the last run. Oh boy, look at that. Is this just delayed more on this run? No. Look at that. Just happens to be a little bit more juice there. And look how this rots. I know it doesn't look like much. That's a lot. That's notable. This is 3 to 6 hours straight in these areas in here. This is what I'm saying. This is not just. I don't understand how you can. If you look at soundings right now, there's nothing, and you look under the hood deep enough, there's nothing about this that suggests the system is limited to just here. Nothing. There's nothing about the system that suggests that, in my opinion. That's such a surface level, maybe of like just like enhancement of the coast. What was I going to say? Yeah, I guess this plays into part is that it's not. We can. That adds into my point, Kevin. This is not. People are going to look at this and just say, "Oh, this is the coastal." They're going to be looking at where the bands show up on the inverted trough or whatever, and looking at. But it's more than that. It's more than that because here's why. Is because you're going to have this enhancement in these You're going to have this low-level convergence off the ocean that's going to be pushing in. You see this? Watch what happens here. Almost reminds me a little bit of 2015. Um, you guys are not going to like that. I believe the Weather Channel named it Neptune. So I know people hate that crap, but that's the only best way I could think of it. February 15th, 2015, that blizzard. The one where Cantori went crazy. It reminds me a little bit of this, where you have this convergence off the ocean, and you have this upper level energy back. Now it's not. I would have to look closer. This is different. It's not. This is not. It's just in the sense of you have this low level convergence pushing. Watch. You see how that pushes down and falls across? Look where I drew the arrow, right here. You see how this pushes across? And so that drops down. And look what you do here. That meets up with the convergence of the inverted trough, the squall line, whatever the heck you want to call it. It meets up with that. And it sets up now all these areas where this drops in, fantastic snowfall rates, and across these areas here as well. And now this is still rotting out across these areas, where honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if there's some 3 to 4, 3 to 5 inch totals across some of these places. It won't be heavy rates. It won't be heavy rates at all, but you might be able to get that. So I would lean 1 to 3, 2 to 4 ish, somewhere around there for some of those areas. Even an isolated 4 to 5 totals aren't out of the question. In some of those areas across eastern PA, New York City, Hudson Valley, Jersey coast is an interesting setup possible, and even down into the Mid Atlantic and Carolinas, coating to an inch, 1 to 3 inches at least, in my opinion. Probably not too much more than that for the Mid Atlantic, but even you could get a coating to an inch down here into the Carolinas. Certainly possible. So keep an eye on that as well. You don't have to just go to the NAM. You go to the Euro as well, and you can note that slightly different spot, but you can see all that low level convergence that needs to swing through and drop down. The Euro AI is going to be way more smoothed out, but you'll see it there as well. So Euro AI is not going to do well with the specifics, but notice that low level. You're still holding on to this. I wonder how long they'll snow after. I really do. If this were the case, if there's any merit to this, because watch the moisture now. Look at that. Look at the moisture still. This is 850 relative humidity. There's still more left to give. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but there's still more left to give. So I really wonder how long. I really think we could go longer with the system than at first. I mean, look at 850. It's 925 too. Yeah. This is still really after. I wonder. I wonder. Definitely off the lakes. Definitely off the lakes. They'll still be, even though there's not a ton left from the ice cover that's so prevalent, but still. I wonder, man. That could extend the duration. Even if there's almost no lift, you're going to be so cold. Look how cold you're going to be. Look at that. 925. I mean, your dendritic growth zone is literally going to be down to the surface almost. Oh, McCaffrey wins comeback player. You think they're going to get? Should Dak have got it? What do you think? I don't know. But man, we're going to be cold. Wind chills too. Before we get into more specific. Boy, oh boy. It's gonna be cold, man. It's gonna be cold. Look at those wind chills. That's just the Euro too. Nam? Brr, brr. I get minus 30 wind chills Sunday morning. Oh. Yes. Yes, there's gonna be all kinds of ocean enhancement with this system, Asham. All kinds. Now, I wonder what I'm just doing some logistics here, looking at some soundings off screen. Now, models are going to keep changing though a little bit with some of the specifics. So one thing you'll notice, one thing I'm watching is so see this run here. I want to see how much does this lay back this way in the orientation, the angle of which this comes in. I think those will all play a little bit of a factor. Um, in my opinion, the more this angles like this way versus this way, and if with the upper level energy closer, I think that would only help benefit. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure how well the NAM will do on some of these specifics here. So, we'll kind of almost be having to combine some. I don't know if you can really combine any specific model output. You kind of just gotta feel it a little bit uh, and pray, because the 500 output here is way different than the Euro. You see that? Well, not way, but it's different. This is a bit more laid back. I think that will make a difference. The Euro, in my opinion, this Euro is a bomb. It just doesn't have some of the meso capabilities that some of the high res models do. Even though it is a high res, it doesn't quite have the same. Euro is a tank of a run, in my opinion. But I don't know. This is why people are going to use this. They're going to look at this. They're going to go to here. First, they'll look at this. And you're going to think you're going to get some specific outcome out of this. And you're not. And they'll do this. And they'll be, oh, look at that. And they'll do this. And they'll think it's some special outcome. Look at that. Oh, boy. Big changes, run to run. Look at that. Oh, it's moving. It's moving. It's not the whole. It's just not how it works. It's not how meteorology. It's not how forecasting works. The only thing I would take away from this is obviously not. This is, in my opinion, this is more of a widespread 2 to 5 than a coding to an inch, which I saw that it, it, it makes its way. I try to stay off the timeline as much as possible. Still, somehow seems to always make its way make its way through down the grapevine. Seems like I don't always have much of a choice, but I want you all to realize here that the reason why I get slightly irritated, not in the general grand scheme of things, but just from the weather forecasting within the micro world of weather forecasting, is that there's so much more to it than that. There's so much more to it, and so I just want people to kind of understand that you have to look more beyond than just the snowfall maps. Let's see. Airdrop. This is how we're doing because Tropical Tidbits no longer wants to be all supportive in this process of streaming. And this was part of what we were talking about. Let's see if I can pull it more out ahead. And see if we can find. Would you like some more? Um, there we go. Find more. Get a couple of soundings here. And here's another. And here's why I was talking about why models underestimating some of the. Um, I kind of want some more from just the way I put it. See if I can pull up another. So we're gonna look at some soundings here, and this is the most revealing process. All those array of tweets of what you saw is I knew the system was gonna have some fun. I knew the cold air we had in place, um, but the soundings revealed it. Were revealed so much. I'm gonna, I wonder how much you can zoom in on these. Hello, NC player. Well, you're not going to get so much longer of me tonight, but you know, 20, 25 minutes here. See if I can make it that long. Okay. This is going to be a little bit harder to see because there's so many photos, but this is why. Oh, there we go. So this was something I pulled there, and these were a little bit more. In my opinion, the 18Z NAM was more interesting than the 0Z, and I'm gonna take all these off for a second here, and then we'll pull them back up. So this is what's so interesting about the setup, and I don't think many are going to be able to pinpoint this until you look at the details. Um, watch here the ocean enhancement that happens offshore. How far this is able to get. First of all, notice the convergence that starts getting created. This low level convergence is right here is the pivot axis of where the inverted trough is. So you'll get this action to happen here, but in my opinion, it's more so than just where the inverted trough and some of the banding sets up here. It's where is that in relation to the convergence off of the ocean? In my opinion, this is the biggest part of the forecast here. You want to know where the best totals are going to be? Listen up to this. This is where the best totals are going to be. Is wherever this convergence meets up with the pivot axis of where this slides out, the inverted trough. Now, it's not, full on crazy, but it's a little mini IVT. So you see what happens? Look what you get here. This is going to change run to run. So you're going to drive yourself crazy if you're looking at the specifics of where it shows this every single run. This is going to be something that I'm going to go off. I have an idea of topography a little bit right now of how I think this may happen, but it's hard. Every system is unique, so you can't always rely on past history for every single setup, but you can try. is you're gonna get this like squallish kind of line here along the the cold front here that hello Seahawks fan that slides through, and this kind of pushes its way and meets up with this convergence off the ocean here. And so as a result, what happens in between now is you have these ocean enhancement in the main juice from the system in behind. And so as a result, those two start meeting up. That's where the best totals. You see, look, watch right here. This is where the action is. This drops in through. That is where the best. That is where the best totals are going to be, in my opinion. And models have been consistently, in my opinion, you can go not just models, but you see that this run too. See that right over that area again. This a little different orientation a little bit earlier with how it did it, but you see how it did that, and then boom, just pivots out in that area, and then everything just the table drops off. Go back to 12Z. Watch. Ocean convergence meets up, and then look, just slides in through every single run. Right, right in this area here, right in this area. Shows and the reason why is because boom, ocean convergence meeting up with the best dynamics. Whatever this squall enhancement fun stuff is from the cold air that's pushing through here along go back in front, I'll show you at temperatures, and that will help only enhance lift and convergence. See the cold front pushing through? See surface temperatures, will it show it better? Well, the reason why it's not as many people is because people only show up usually just for the big storms. So it's harder to manufacture that always. I can't really control that. Hold up. Did Vrabel win Coach of the Year? Oh, let's go. That's my coach. That's my coach right there. Well deserved. Well deserved. Well deserved. In my opinion, the two best candidates are in the Super Bowl. So happy for my coach. Okay. My team's coach. But that cold air pushing through. So this is where the action. This is where the action gets created. So this push here, right? You see the IVT. You see that? That's pretty cool to see on the temperature map right there. So this points moisture. This system has overperformance written all over it. It has overperformance written all over it from a synoptic meteorology setup, in my opinion. You have a fire hose of moisture pointed, now limited fire hose, not a crazy one. If this was, we'd be talking about a historic inverted trough, kind of something like we saw earlier this year in Maine. We would be maybe talking more. Now, you never know. Maybe this will be more than what we think. But for right now at the moment, I'll say is that this that you have the cold air pressing in from behind from the backside here. If I had a more consistent stream, you get more people instead of just whenever. My man, I've been on my deathbed for the last 6 days here. Sorry, I don't don't love the way you phrase that. don't know what you mean by a more consistent stream, but I, at first glance, don't necessarily appreciate that. I work really hard, got a lot of stuff here, so and it's kind of unrealistic to do streaming like every single day like I do. So, um, but yeah, I don't know. I had other people do that too. And all you have to do, guys, is look at the community tab. Always go to the community tab, and I'm almost always providing some updates there to let you know what's going on if I'm not streaming or if I am. I kind of alluded to that we might have to stream for this tonight, and we did. So, um, I mean, I consistently put it in the community tab, so it's there. So, I mean, I'm not really that intense. It's just I work really hard at what I do. So, in my opinion, and this isn't a full time job for me either. By the way, I know you guys view it like that, but some of you, but this is not my full time job. So this is something I do on the side and find time for because I love it. So just keep that in mind sometimes. That but before sometimes you say stuff that is just always important. Um, but no, NC player, this is about a lot of times what a lot of streams would be like if it's not a widespread major snowstorm. So this isn't like just this isn't like because I lack consistency with my streaming, so to say. This is um, we never stream every day regardless. During we never do that, and then usually because otherwise it waters down the point of streaming, and probably will get less people to come in. It's very time consuming, the process I need to do before that to set it up and make sure it runs smoothly, make sure I'm prepared. So there's a lot that there's more that just goes into it than just firing it up and praying. But back to here is I'm trying not to get too sidetracked. I don't have the energy to be able to overly critically think more than what I know with here, beyond the system. But the reason why I think this system is going to do so well here is already have impressive cold air present, but you have this press of cold air coming in. You have ocean enhancement off the east, and you have moisture tap from the south. Basically creating your own triple point. Right in here. You're creating your own triple point. That's where I'm looking right now. And you'll get the coastal enhancement. You'll get all of the fun stuff here. So I wouldn't. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is going to be, this may be, some people may, along this area, may not like what I'm about to say. This may not be the highest area. I'm not just saying, I know people, well, you're just saying that you live out here. No, that's not. It's literally for the reasons we just highlighted. Because the ocean enhancement potentially now, this isn't going to be, if it is here, it's going to be less about because it's just the ocean enhancement is going to work its way inland. It's going to be about because of placement of the upper level energy. If the jackpot most totals are here, in my opinion, with maybe the exception for North Shore, Cape Ann, Essex County. So this combination of things is what leads me to believe that this is where the action. You go to you can see that from moisture. 850 is probably most relative important. Boom, and look at that. You can see that little mini inverted trough kind of point back here. You can see you have your ocean enhancement off here as well. And you have the main from the system back here that's moving through. And so all these three meet up here. I bet you, too, there'll be some orographic. I'd be surprised if there wasn't some orographic enhancement here. Um, Orographic lift, meaning the terrain helps create a little bit more focused banding across those areas. In my opinion, I'd be looking here, here-ish, and here. This really just might spread out to entire here. I'm gonna have trouble. I don't think I can explicitly forecast, even though there might be a subsidence zone somewhere in here. It might kind of look like that, what I might do. So this is but I also think some of these areas will do well. I also think some of these areas will do well back into here as well. You'll get some accumulating snow to work its way through. All right, now to the soundings. I thought we had more than that. I'm almost certain we had more than this. Or is it because we zoomed in? That might be it. Okay. Um, I think it's because we zoomed in. Was this 8? No, that's 0. Let me get back here. I think this was it. No, that wasn't it either. All right. Have a good one, NC player. Was this it? No. Which freaking one was it then? Not feeling the love tonight? Well, I don't think we ever feel the love every night. It's not about necessarily supplying love. It's just about coming on streaming and making a forecast. That's really it. Um, if we always did stuff when we wanted to feel the love, we wouldn't be very productive in life. So, why isn't this not? Let me take that one off. There we go. Okay, now zoom in here, and this is where the good stuff is. For people that are going to wonder why I'm fairly bullish, this is going to be why. Also, I wouldn't rule out. I know we've been mentioning it. Actually, it has happened on some of these systems. It has, um, but thunder snow will not be impossible with this system. It's really kind of it reminds me of some lake effect we see, and that's why I say it's like an ocean. It's almost like an ocean effect storm. which is going to make it pretty interesting. But let's I'm just moving the laptop here. Forgot Tatum is still here in the background, but here with the system, keep in mind, is that the right hour? Yeah. So this was one thing that the NAM was a little bit different from this run, is that a specific amount of lift from the ocean enhancement out ahead was a little bit less, but eventually it got its act together a little bit more at the end. So this is all specifics, but I look at these soundings. This is, look at how many consecutive hours in a row of lift. First of all, how did I do this? Did I go this way? I think I went that. I forget what hours. Hey, I think the surface temps, it may be a little high on some of these. I'm not sure we're going to get into the upper 20s in some of these places, but I chose somewhere close to Mikasa because I could get consistent soundings just every hour. I mean, you can see this almost the same spot every hour, and take a look. Look at the lift present in the Dendritic growth zone. Look at where your Dendritic growth zone is, first of all, as well. This is like the core of it, basically, in here to about here. And look at your lift present and even below the Dendritic growth zone as well. Perfectly placed where your lift is. Now Tatum wants to make an appearance on stream. And look how well saturated you are as well. A little bit of depression at the top, but plenty of good saturation from about 750 down to the surface. I'm way early. Yeah, I been going to bed a lot sooner. I don't have the same juice I do a lot of times. Rich, so you only get so much longer, but you can rewatch it. We've gone pretty well in depth. I probably only got 15 more minutes max in me here, but we'll see if we can get maybe 20. But with the system, very very well saturated. Lots of lift. You wouldn't know it at first glance based off a P-type map. These are 1 to 3 inch per hour rates right here. Look at where your Dendritic growth zone is starting. Your Dendritic growth zone is starting at 700 millibars and is only going to drop from here on out. I did not know the sun. I thought you said you were leaving NC Player, but it's up to you. But no, the fun fact about the Earth, I guess. And yeah, I hope I do too, Rich. Again, the amount of people that reply to some of the posts and then don't realize that I've provided plenty of information and plenty of other posts. All you got to do is click on the profile, do a quick scroll, and you can find everything. It takes about 15 seconds, and it answers all your questions. So for all the people that, why am I not streaming? What I was telling people about, the channel, and you're now you're not doing anything. Well, there's a reason. I literally, it was or if you watch the video as well, I think some of you watched this. Why, NC Player, I think you responded before to me saying I was sick, which that's why when you said that I was very confused, because I thought you knew that, because I think you replied to one of my posts saying hope you feel better. So it's possible you forgot, but I mean, I just wish people would think that first before just saying why don't you do it. So I understand channel memberships, you invest potentially money into that for supporting me, and I don't take that for granted. At the same time, money is not what's going to motivate me. in my life, making personal choices. I will always put my health above financial stuff at any point. And my health became so uh, down to the point where I had to literally go into hibernation for like 2 straight days and not even look at anything and just sleep. Um, so that's it was very it's still I'm still listen. Let's put it like this: was a struggle to walk from place to place, and it still is a little bit. That's the level of fatigue that have had in my body. So listen, has not been easy. So I just wish people would understand that it's not a sympathy thing. I don't need people need to act like that there's so many more people that have so many bigger problems than I do currently, but I just want people to understand that of why. That's the only reason I try to provide that context out there is. But I do appreciate those that sent their best wishes. But take take a look at more sounding. So this is what, 7 consecutive hours. By the way, I took these sounding 7 consecutive hours. So let's go to this sounding here. We have a Super Bowl in 3 days. Yeah, we do. And yes, oh, you forgot NC. And I saw you were sick. Yeah, I appreciate that, Rich. Thank you, NC player. Okay, so this is another hour. Cold air only dropping. Take a look. Now the dendritic growth zone's getting lowered about 750 after being about 720 maybe. Um, I did not see the incident in Spencer. Listen, I do not. I used to be someone who'd always be in tap to the breaking news. I have gotten so farther and farther and farther away from that now. But my point is, sorry, I want to break this sounding down because now we're dropping, and you still have the lift present in the dendritic growth zone. Even if you don't have all this lift present, let's say if it's overestimated a little bit, let's say we're more like this. This is another dendritic growth zone, still dropped pretty far in the atmosphere, but you still have some lift present. You still have some moderate lift present. You're probably snowing a half inch to an inch an hour here, guys. You probably are. Spencer's a town near where me and Rich and I live. Uh, so that is that's where Spencer's. But and then we go to more hours here and notice. Look at the lift present here, sneaky but present at the bottom of the dendritic growth zone. Notable but present. And here, this is and the consistency of the lift here in the dendritic growth zone is what makes it so impressive. Take a look at that. Consistently throughout the dendritic growth zone, guys, these are inch per hour rates right here. Inch per hour rates. Look at how many hours now we've listed of inch per hour rates in this spot. This is again near probably inch per hour rates. Your dendritic growth zone isn't massive, but the lift is perfectly placed, and you're so cold in the upper levels that you don't need to be 8 degree. This is more important in my opinion than surface temps always, even though surface temps play a huge factor. So keep that in mind. Richie, thank you so much for the super chat. What are the snow chances in Central Jersey? Are you talking in general or this weekend? This weekend, you absolutely will be seeing accumulating snow. Richie, I would say at least 1 to 3 inches at this point, with probably a ceiling of 3 to 6. If I had to, take a chance at there, and probably a good half inch to an inch and a half floor, I would say for Central Jersey. Uh, if I had to take a guess there for you, um, out there in Central Jersey for this weekend. Beyond that, there will be more snow chances, I think. I do think, I don't want to say where's favored specifically, but there's going to be, I think, more wintry weather to track beyond that. So Thank you for the super chat, Richie. I do not take that for granted at all. For those that decide to super chat, you will always get as thorough of an answer I can get, because I feel if you decide to donate money to me and give to give money that you work and earn for, that somehow, however you got it, even if maybe I don't know, maybe someone sent it to you as a gift, you're giving it to me, you're paying it forward, but to spend the money that you got, and you're sending it now to me. I try to do what I can to give a proper answer. So I don't take it for granted for those that decide to. It's not valuing you more as a person. It's just trying to value the action that you did and try to. Um, sorry, mind is a little twisted still from what I'm going through, so I can't always select the right words right now. COVID brain, but it just I still am mesmerized with the setup here. It's just hours and hours, and even if we go back to some of these soundings here, take notice. I mean, look at that. This is back to back hours, or this is two different spots. Sorry, but I even think back to back hours. It still was fairly impressive, but this that rate that right there is probably 2 to 4 inch per hour rates. That's and I know some people, Brady. What are you talking about? This is not this never the atmosphere never lies. It never does. These soundings always provide the context. The soundings always provide the context. What is this, the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Oh, stop it. I'm so done with that. What a joke that's turned into. Sorry, I have the NFL honors on in the background. What a joke. Don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started. Joke of a process that's turned into. Um, but this is notable. Oh, Richie, thank you for the super chat. I'll read it in 1 second, Richie. I want to finish breaking down this point. But guys, this is really impressive sounding. Extremely impressive saturation from well, I mean, you just hear the saturator or you're not. So fantastic saturation in the dendritic growth zone. Look at how low the dendritic growth zone is too. The lower the dendritic growth zone is, the better more impressive the totals you'll be. But also notice here's another thing different from typical lake effect. Look at the saturation you have all the way up to near 450 millibars in the atmosphere. That's very impressive that you have a pretty minor dew point depression here. That only supports usually the air parcel, bring down even cooler air from the north, and I even am skeptical that you'll get to 25 here, especially if you have a little bit of elevation. I'd be skeptical you even get there. Which you see a little bit of surface cape here, thunder snow, not out of the realm of possibility here. I've made it way farther than I've expected tonight. I knew I would, enjoying breaking down the setups here. So let's see if I can get another. I think I got another 15 in me, but was it going to be a hard? I think we started just after 9 p.m. I think we just started, but be a hard cap on about half hour 45. We're not doing a 2+ hour stream tonight, but this is very impressive. Again, I'm going to read your comment in 1 second, Richie. I promise. The whole spiel. But if this wasn't so important, I wouldn't be this much focus on it. And it all has to do here. If you zoom in like you can on the screen. No, Matt is Matt has a lot of weird comments, but he is a loyal supporter. I don't understand half the things you comment, Matt, but I appreciate it. I'll get back to that second. I want to read Rich's thing. Absolutely, man. Thank you for the info. Always enjoy your weather analysis. I hope you continue to get better. A terrible flu season. Yes. I don't think I had the flu. I think it was more COVID, but uh, I appreciate it. I thank you. I thank you very much. Member Noisy Ando. How is Newport, Rhode Island looking for the IVT? Well, I would say it's more than just an IVT, but I'd say pretty solid. I'd say pretty solid. I'm having a tough time, especially those coastal areas that will have be in it for longer. I'm having a tough time believing that you'll get less than 2 to 5 inches out of this. To be honest, I would say that's your middle ground. I'd say your floor is probably 1 to 2 inches. Your middle ground is maybe this could be a low end middle ground too. It's 2 to 5, and I think you have 5 to 10 plus potential. To be honest, and honestly, I'm not sure what the ceiling is with this system. I'm really not. I think double digits are not out of the possibility here. Will not be widespread, but possible. I think we'll have some. I think we'll have a swath of 6 plus totals, to be honest, and I think 8 plus totals are also within the possibility here too. I really do. I very much do. If you guys know with these systems, when I'm against the grain, if I'm confident, there's a reason. I'm confident. I'm telling you, I'm confident. I am confident that this system is going to surprise some people. Now, the reason why we're talking about this is the ocean enhancement. Now, Philly, Matt, this is not the same animal for Philly as it is in New England, in my opinion. Not my opinion, it's the system's opinion. Sorry. I'm just uh, a messenger, and different messengers can sometimes read it better than others, and from depending on the system, I guess. But the ocean convergence here, along with the cold air pressing along the upper level dynamics moving through, and then the inverted trough part of the system as well, all these three come through here. And this, I'm telling you, somewhere in here, there's some special. There's something special that's going to happen with this system. It's really unique. I don't want to say how much. I don't want to say a max. There's a number that I was gonna just about to say, and I don't know if I don't know if the cojones to throw it out there. The numbers stack up to 1, 2, though. I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule it out. I really wouldn't. These are sneaky. In the soundings I'm seeing, you could just stack up hour by hour. This hour alone, you would get 2 to 4 inches of snow right here. This little band right in here. You get 2 to 4 inches. This is really sneaky, guys. And then you look at it. Here's another sounding. This is by the tri-state border of Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. I know that's not the tri-state you often refer to, but it is tri-state border right here. Easy inch per hour rates. Easy, easy. This is a different sounding from a different hour here. I think this is much further earlier actually. So this is just like during the system. This isn't even during the peak convergence period. Those are how many hours? Yeah, that's 7 hours earlier. So keep that in mind. Richie, thank you so much again uh, for the donation. Is it possible you got the snow covering that big? So I know you're joking, but I really do think I did not help. I in I don't think I helped my the way my sleep schedule was operating. Just so obsessed with all the trying to really with those systems. It's just I love seeing every model runs come in. They're not the end all be all, but love seeing. I mean, it just felt like I was tracking history, kind of, and I didn't want to. I wanted to be as present as I could, and I wasn't assuming the week before. If I known the week before uh, that we were going to be reeling in a historic snowstorm, I probably would have decided to get, more than 5, 6 hours of sleep. And then it turned into 4 hours of sleep if we're lucky, the next week. And that wears on you. That's 2 weeks in a row of getting 4 to 6 hours of sleep every single night. That's not productive for when you're sick. And I was sick the entire time tracking. Go all the way back to that January 19th system. I was sick the entire I was sick that in it was sick before that system, and I've been sick ever since. It's been 3 straight weeks. So, but this was my point here with the sounding is fantastic saturation all the way through here, and still look at the lift. Guys, these are inch per hour rates. Those are inch per hour rates, maybe even more. 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half hour rates right here. This is what makes forecasting. This is what plays a part. Um, can Western Long Island see some good snow? I mean, it depends on what you call good snow. Uh, depends on if, 1 to 3, 2 to 5. I think that's certainly in play for Western Long Island can do very well with this system. Um, I think Western Long Island could see plowable snow with this system over time. Now, it's a I think that's a decent spot to I think that's a decent spot to be with. Um, Rich, thank you so much. Again, there's no need for you to have to do this whatsoever. I'd be reading your comments, but I thank you so much for the support. It really does uh, mean a lot. Weather is awesome. I agree. I had COVID. I had yeah. This is I think my second time having it. I have some underlying symptoms, so it seems to kick my butt always. Not fun at all. Weather puts you on a high, and sometimes you get no sleep. Yeah, it's a weather is addicting. Weather is addicting. So I enjoy it. That doesn't compute in meteorology terms. Going back and forth. I was really hoping. I really was hoping it missed us with the Super Bowl. It looks like I'm going to be plowing until the early afternoon. Well, you'll be in time. I'm not sure. I think your main plowing will be Saturday and Saturday night into maybe Sunday morning. So after that, I think you'll be in a little bit better shape here. But let's take it. So I just want you to all to understand what I look at with these soundings here, and there's plenty of more hours of. Um, you see these little bars of lift here. There's plenty more hours like that in the dendritic growth zone, and you're still gonna get solid. You're still gonna get probably some dendrites to form, and you'll probably accumulate. Sorry, losing. I'm on my last straw here, people. This is the the closing stretch, so to say. Sorry, quarter, maybe a quarter and a half inch per hour, and that just continues to accumulate. So keep that in mind. And even if you were to do that without any of these heavy rates, you'd probably still surprise and overperform some people's expectations. Thank you, Richie. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support a lot. It's not necessary by any means. I'd be doing it regardless, but I would be lying if I said the super chats weren't extremely helpful. The amount of people that have been donating, and it's really stacked up more than I could even imagine. It's not not anything insane. It's not thousands and thousands of dollars, as it's not supposed to be for a channel my size, or someone that does the work I do. It's not necessary, but one day maybe we can turn this into a bit of an empire, which would be kind of fun. I think we have the niche. I think we have it. I don't think anybody does Even my man Gerald, we talk about it. Gerald and I, we discuss before and after streams, and we keep in we talk a lot. We keep in we keep in relatively good touch here. Because even though we've actually never met each other, we became friends. So, um, but his niche is a little bit different than mine. My niche is kind of the more in depth. It's get into the hardcore of the analysis, and Gerald's is that too, and he leans into that. But he's obviously taken into more of a larger geographical scope of things more consistently, and will give you more of that true weatherman feel, so to say. And I'm more of a in-depth niche, um, continuously going into the in-depth stuff that is going to tune some people out and kind of polarize you pretty quickly. So you'll kind of know what what you're getting yourself into here. And I don't know how I'm creating words right now. To be honest, I am. I have. I don't have. I don't have much thoughts going through my head right now, to be honest. Um, I'm not going anywhere. I appreciate it. It's one thing to hear the weather from someone, but to get in-depth analysis is where it's really at. That's what I hope you can find that. That's the thing, though, with you on camera. It's at some point. I get a lot of people. I get a lot of people ask me that. Here's one of two ways that's going to happen. I said a 3 foot snowstorm. I'll do a face reveal, um, or if I feel like it over time at some point. And it has nothing to do with not wanting to grow my channel. It has everything to do with enjoying the private balance that I get from being able to separate those things. That's really what it comes down to. Is this has really turned into a nice safe haven for me to separate what I do um, in my everyday life, and that's the reason why I kind of enjoy keeping that separated for now. Not that I'm some massive big shot, but what I do in my everyday life, and I've alluded to this before, is so drastically different from what you would expect a weatherman kind of to do. Um, the face to face will be hard, Richie. It will be hard because you'd have to like face it. It'd be very difficult to kind of do. I get maybe you could do it through Zoom on OBS, but it's more difficult than just than how we do it through Discord. So just kidding, Stat. If that's how you do it in Z Player, that's how you do it. Um, that Matt, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. All right, let's take a look here at the RGM. We got maybe 5-10 minutes left, maybe. There's not much left going through my head here, but okay. Ooh, I think it'd be likey. Wish we could get 850. Is 850 here too? Okay, it's here. Let's take a look. I think where 850 is where the juice is at. Oh, that's just hours. That doesn't even get as much convergence off the ocean too. You do see it though, right? Boom. Right in here. If I've been Drake made this whole time, that's maybe the closest guest anybody has ever gotten. And it was by joke um, to what I do, but that's where the juice is at, baby. That's where it's at. All don't know. That's the funny thing is I know my channel would grow more if I did a constant face, but it also, it makes it a lot easier. I don't gotta, I don't gotta try to I do my hair or something. Put a ball. That's one thing I'll say right there. I'm not bald. I'll tell you that right now. I'm, at least at the moment, I'm not. I don't think we're gonna be flirting with that anytime soon. I'll say that, but um, you gotta do stuff. You gotta make sure you don't look like you gotta try to look like you're running something semi-professional. But while you're doing that, there's more that goes into it. There's distractions. There's background stuff. There's to be my dog. It's for me at the moment. It's easier. Arctic boundaries and clipper systems always seem to overperform. You see, I don't always like putting hats on though because uh, I like my head to feel to feel the air as weird as that sounds. And sometimes hats after a long time give me headaches. So, uh, but I do wear hats plenty often. No, Tatum is not that. No, no, well, actually, that's a lie. Tatum is a problem. He is. Tatum is a menace. Tatum is an absolute menace. Here's one thing with the RGM, which I'm not sure I agree with, is you see how it's pulling all of this. It's not pulling all this further now, maybe, but I think the RGM could be even lacking the amount of pulling the ocean convergence in here, just based on the tap here. But look at this tap. Oh boy. How does that compare to the previous one? Seems like it pulled in more in 18C, but I kind of like what. Or is it? I can't tell. It's hard to tell some of these specifics of run around. It's the Euro like. See, the Euro pulls that in a little bit more. Euro is just hours and hours and hours. Look at that. That's got to be some order. Look at that. Right in there. Right in there. You get this band. I don't know if it will show it, but it is. 700 relative. 850. 925. 925 is a little sketchier. Get the surface. Surface moisture. Dew point depression. A little bit of a dew point depression, but that's Fahrenheit. Relative humidity is a little bit, but still probably enough to keep going, in my opinion. Or if the Patriots win the Super Bowl, we get one picture. No, the Patriots have won plenty of Super Bowls. I never post pictures. Or should we do it if they lose? Big Brady fan though, so I'm rooting for the Pats. So that's good. I wish he would be rooting for the Pats as well, but I'll take the Super Bowls he won for us. Fun fact: I've actually met him before. Was very nice to me. Um, Granted, I was a child, but um, he was very nice to me when I met him in the brief interaction in autograph I got from him at a Patriots training camp. So fun fact about that. This thing is looking sneaky good. I'm not sure. You said Central Jersey. Yeah, Central Jersey. You'll get a little bit of fun action out of this. I really think Jersey Coast. You know what? A side note. Tom is always so present in what he's doing. He's always so present, and I think he just got caught up in I bet you he still loves. I bet you he still he just for the moment he's so present in what he's doing. He's trying to focus so good on analysis. I think he um, just doesn't even realize it at the moment. But um, the Euros underdoing it a little bit for Jersey, in my opinion. I think there'll be more than that, just based on the soundings. It really just turns in again. It turns into a math game. I'm gonna look at. Sorry, that really might have disturbed the mic there. I apologize. I turn it into a math game here. You're gonna be well saturated. There's gonna be some lift present. There's no reason. I don't think you get to at least 3/4 of an inch to an inch of snow. I find it hard to believe. I don't. And that doesn't even account for if you do more than. I mean, it's not a ton of lift, but the amount of hours, and then you will at the end too, when that whatever that squall action comes through. I think you do. I think you get 1 to 3. The back of the jersey. New York City. New York City will do fine. I think. I think New York City. I would range it kind of in the 1 to 4ish right now, but if you want to range it as a floor of like 1/2 inch to 2 inches, a middle ground of like this is going to sound weird, but like 1.5 to 4.5, and then a ceiling of 4 to 6, kind of in New York City. Like that's maybe what you could say. Then can goes up a little bit the further east you work into Long Island potentially, even though um, that eastern end of Long Island could do pretty well with this. I think this is a system too where I'm not sure that models will even do it justice. To be honest, I'm not sure models will do it justice. And models are going to keep switching around every run too. So until this thing happens, even as it's happening, keep that in mind. But it will. One thing I am confident is and I'll leave you and I'll say this and then I gotta sorry I know we're not gonna get may not get to the MVP announcement on on stream here, but I'll leave you. We kind of broken down some snow thoughts. I'll leave you with some concrete stuff here. So we got a few more minutes left here to give you some clear thoughts. Tomorrow, we briefly alluded to this. You know what the problem is too here is everyone's just gonna look at that and think, oh, this is it. This is the only jackpot spot. It's so much more. It's just there's more to it. It's gonna change. It's gonna change run to run. It's gonna change just because there's more QPF. Look at that. Look at the difference in that run, and then that run, and that's. I mean, oh well, the run didn't finish out there, but it's just you catching on to run. And people will do this the RGM. Now, as a takeaway, as you can see, but for me, I look at this and there's the fun stuff right there. But people will look at this and think that, it's just there. Even though I do think there's going to be some enhancement there, absolutely. And that's why, and listen, I'm not saying that spot isn't, I'm just, I don't want the takeaway, I don't want the takeaway of this system to be is there's not going to be much back here, but there will be. This is the only chance for your higher totals, and that's not the case. It's not the case with this system. I really hope that's not the narrative. I think there's more. Does this run keep going? I think there's more to finish out here, in my opinion. And also, you have to remember when we're not talking about an 18 to 24 major blockbuster or something, snow is snow. It accumulates. So if you're snowing and you're accumulating, even if it's a couple tenths of an inch an hour, that's a cumulative snow. Let's say you do that for 8 more hours than models are expecting. That could be another inch and a half on top of snow on top of your total. So if you added that on to like 5 inches of snow, all of a sudden you end up with a 6.5 inch snowstorm, even though it's spread out over time a little bit. So you all just need to like wrap that around your minds a little bit. Keep that in perspective. But what I was gonna say is the moisture with this. Let me get to 925. The moisture tomorrow. Look at this. Already, I wouldn't be shocked if even overnight tonight. I wouldn't be shocked if right now on radar. Let me take a look. I don't think we have started yet, but I wouldn't be shocked. Of course, the radar sites are down in Long Island, and do we? Let me take a peek here. I see already a little bit of an ocean flow. Already, I wouldn't be shocked if overnight tonight we start seeing some flakes break out. I wouldn't be shocked. But tomorrow, it's going to happen. There's going to be ocean effect, I think. This push right here, and this will be the best push. That may be when we may be started. 12 to 2 a.m. maybe this first started of some spit and flakes. But then as we get to about 5 to 8 a.m., that's when I think we'll start seeing some more bands potentially break out, and then especially during the day and into the afternoon. Absolutely. And this is why. It's not just these areas here. Take a look. The ocean enhancement pushes inland. So we'll be into these areas, probably some orographic enhancement from the Worcester Hills a little bit too even. There'll be and it's not going to be a ton, but you're not going to need a ton. Snow is snow, you have to remember, especially when you're cold. You'll get some bands to break out here, and you're gonna get some snow out ahead. And I think it could actually, you got to be careful. I don't want to advise because I know I get people that do listen to me. I wouldn't necessarily say, do early dismissals for schools or for businesses. But I would keep that in mind. I would at least give yourself extra time to prepare for tomorrow PM's commute across Eastern New England. I really would keep that in mind, and even out into these areas too, where it'll be snowing by tomorrow PM. You should be keeping that in mind. That this could cause a little bit of problems because it's going to be cold, so it's going to accumulate probably on some of the roadways and could make it a little bit slick. And if ocean enhancement performs like it oftentimes does, even if it's not by a crazy amount, usually tends to come to fruition always pretty well if there's any hint of it, if not always more. Could add a little, could do, all of a sudden, would it really be a shock if there's 1 to 2 inches of snow causes a problem that's fluffy and cold and accumulates, and it wouldn't shock me. And then now look, you see that convergence of that ocean enhancement and the upper level energy coming together, and that's where the specialties will lie with the system. Boom, boom, right into there. That's where I'm looking. That's where I'm looking with this system for the best of the best here, and you could extend that out into here too. Could look something like that, but I think across southern New England, especially, and into Long Island, across these areas here, you could go. I think there's some subsidence, a little bit of miss of the banding, definitely possible for some people where it may be more like 1 to 3. But I'm thinking it's a widespread. I think it's a for most it's 2 to 5 inches, and then within that, I think we could have some 5 to 10 plus. Uh, and I say this begrudgingly, whatever the frick the word is. Words are hard to come by right now. A 12 plus wouldn't shock me. Somewhere getting a foot of snow would not shock me over time. It really would not. Really would not. Could it be somewhere in here? Could it be somewhere in here, here, or here? Time will tell. Time will tell. But watch closely. This is a sneaky system, and you'll get accumulating snow back into here and here, Hudson Valley. I think you'll get 1 to 3 inches, maybe 2 to 5. New York City, same kind of ideal ordeal there, and then back into here will probably be a good 2 to 5, 3 to 6 at least, maybe more with the lake enhancement. Could be more like 4 to 8 plus. We'll have to pinpoint that. You'll get accumulating snow back into here as well. And even down in the mid-Atlantic as well, Maryland to Delmarva, coating to an inch, 1 to 3 inches, certainly possible, and even down and across the southeastern mid-Atlantic and into the Carolinas. Then you will get some back into Maine, but not as much. The focus, as you can see, is going to be pinpointed. Follow the relative humidity. That's where you'll get some back into here and through here, but this will be probably the best focus of the system. This is it right here, and this is where we're pinpointing. So not sure if we'll do a stream tomorrow night. Let me try to. Let's see. Let me read some comments before we get off here. So ready for the system? Me as well. Time will tell. Yes. Having another party tomorrow night? I don't know. Flakes during the day for Southern New Hampshire? Yes, possible. I did not know this was on the screen the entire time. So I guess that's why people. That's why people were mentioning the face thing. I literally do my best to try to remove this every single time, but go. There we go. My God, this works. Can we just announce the dang awards? Yeah. Oh, is this it right here? I think they're about to do it. Maybe we did make it far enough. Oh, they gave it to Stafford. Yeah. Well, he got enough votes, so that's it. Drake May will be my MVP, though. I'll tell you that. Got the nice Lifetime Achievement Award. I mean, listen, you're gonna look back on his career being like, yeah, you got at some point to earn MVP, but Drake May had a pretty good case this year as well. So, Cantori, 30 years. I will not. Don't let anyone bet against me. Next Cantori, I really hope I'm not get a B-ball at that point. All right, that's all I got tonight. Try to get some sleep here, and well, not try. I'm definitely going to. But I appreciate you all tuning in, and maybe we'll do a stream tomorrow night. I'm not sure. I'll try to at least get a video out there. So until next time, peace, everybody.